Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're currently in a really strange point in the year where the new Call of Duty game is about to be announced, not quite yet, but very soon, and all the new content for the current game is right around the corner, but we're still a few weeks away from that. There's about to be a storm of Call of Duty updates and news and information, but for right now, we're all just kind of sat here waiting, and I thought, while we wait, let's go ahead and put together an official wish list for Call of Duty 2019, otherwise known as Modern Warfare 4. There is so much to discuss when it comes to Modern Warfare 4. As somebody who has played this series for over a decade now and has seen every version of every game and every new feature and gameplay style, I could sit here and get super nerdy and super detailed about every little aspect of the game and how I would personally handle it. But honestly, when it comes to Modern Warfare 4, we don't even really need all that. To make Modern Warfare 4 a super successful game, Infinity Ward just needs to do three things. Number one, they have to recreate the Modern Warfare 2/Modern Warfare 3 gameplay style. Number two, they have to give us the biggest content launch in Call of Duty history. I'm talking 35 primary weapons, a bunch of secondary weapons, 14 original maps, and of course a bunch of iconic remake maps on top of that. And number three, DLC needs to be free throughout the entire year, and that DLC needs to include new weapons and multiplayer maps. If Infinity Ward can accomplish all three of those, then Modern Warfare 4, in my opinion, is guaranteed to be a runaway success. It's already going to sell like crazy just off the name and premise alone, right? I mean, Call of Duty World War II, even though it launched with like 9 standard multiplayer maps and a bunch of problems, it still broke all sorts of records because it was the first World War II themed Call of Duty game in a decade, right? It sold off the name and the premise alone, and the same is going to be true of Modern Warfare 4. I mean, if you thought Call of Duty World War II was crazy, imagine what it's going to be like for the first officially licensed Modern Warfare Call of Duty game since 2011. It's going to be pretty freaking nuts. I know it doesn't seem like it to a lot of us, because in my memory, like, Modern Warfare 3 wasn't that long ago, but it really has been a very long time, and the Modern Warfare games, if you think about it, are kind of like a relic of the past here in the Call of Duty franchise. They represent a super old school way of doing things, and they had a lot of gameplay and design elements that you just don't really see anymore in this franchise. Like, for example, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 all predated the Pick 10 Craig class system. They all predated score streaks, they predated character skins and $30 hammer bundles. Heck, they predated DLC weapons entirely, right? A lot has changed between 2011 and 2019. When the Modern Warfare series does finally come back, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what elements of the past that they hold on to and what newer features that we've seen in recent years that they're going to decide to implement into Modern Warfare 4. For me personally, I want it to be a bit of a mixed bag, right? It doesn't need to be exactly like what we saw back in Modern Warfare 2/Modern Warfare 3. Don't get me wrong, I want the Modern Warfare gameplay, I want that super fast time to kill and the realistic weapons and no specialists and super powerful kill streaks, but still, I think I would prefer the Pick 10 system as compared to the old system we had, where everybody had to have a stun or a flash or a smoke, or you had to have a pistol and you had to have only 3 total perks. I think Pick 10 be a little bit better, right? And when it comes to weapons, I want them to primarily feature new content, right? Earlier I mentioned how I want them to have 35 primary weapons at launch, and I would love for maybe 26 or 27 of them to be completely new to the Call of Duty franchise, with the rest of them being iconic throwbacks to the older games like MP5s, M16s, the M4A1, the 50 cal, the M48-3, the Intervention, so on, right? Like all the iconic guns that we all know and love. It would be great to have mostly new content with some old school content on top of that, right? The same is true for the multiplayer maps. I want 14 original maps at launch with maybe 4 remakes on top of that. That sounds pretty perfect in my head. Like, bring back maps like High Rise, Crash, and Arkaden, but I don't want them to be the focus of the multiplayer, kind of like what we see here with Black Ops 4. I mean, here in Black Ops 4, 5 of the 15 base maps that we have, if you count Nuketown, are remakes from previous games, right? And while I love the old school maps, it almost seems like Treyarch banked a bit too much on our nostalgia here in this game. I said a while ago, but I feel like old school content in new Call of Duty games, it needs to be the icing on the cake rather than being the cake itself. And I feel like old school stuff is responsible for way too much content here in Black Ops 4. I would much rather have a bunch of original content with a couple of throwbacks in Black Ops 4 as compared to the majority of the throwbacks that we see currently in this game. I hope that Infinity Ward takes that to heart, right? If you take that notion of we need to have old school stuff, but don't let it basically dominate the entire multiplayer, that's a pretty good system. We all want the old school weapons and maps, right? I mean, we want the FAMAS, right? We want the UMP-45 and, Dome and Favela. That'd be fantastic, but don't make them the central focus of the game. Have the focus be Modern Warfare 4. Let the game stand on its own two legs. Let it have a bunch of original maps and original weapons, and then sprinkle in some throwbacks to Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 for your longtime fans, right? If they do it that way, I think fans are going to be incredibly happy, especially if DLC turns out to be free. We talk about this pretty much every single year, but it's finally time that Activision and the 3 dev studios do away with the old school archaic map pack system where they nickel and dime and divide the community. It's time they enter the modern age of gaming, and what better game to do that with than Modern Warfare 4? And if DLC is free, then Infinity Ward could add old school maps and old school guns as part of free content updates alongside new multiplayer maps and new weapons, which would also be added as free updates. That would by far be the best way to do things with Modern Warfare 4. If they do all of that, in my opinion, the game would be a runaway success, and I would love to hear what you guys think down there in the comments. But as we all know, the true mark of a great game is found in the details, so let's go ahead and cover a few of those now. We know for a fact that a campaign is coming with Modern Warfare 4, which is really good news. They should definitely continue the Modern Warfare story. We do not know about a Battle Royale. I feel like they would have mentioned it if Modern Warfare 4 was going to have its own BR game, and I think that's good news, right? If they're not going to have a Battle Royale in Modern Warfare 4, what they should be doing is working with Treyarch a little bit to have a bit of a crossover where certain Modern Warfare weapons and characters and locations get added to the Blackout map. Therefore, people can still play Blackout if they enjoy it, but Battle Royale is not going to ruin Modern Warfare 4 by any stretch of the imagination. Now, when it comes to co-op, I want the full-fledged return of Spec Ops and Spec Ops Survival, with maybe a couple of Zombies maps added as big content updates. The idea of Modern Warfare Zombies sounds really interesting to me, but at the same time, I don't want Zombies to be the central focal point of Modern Warfare 4's co-op mode. I would much rather see the return of Spec Ops and Spec Ops Survival, and if you guys remember, back when Activision described Call of Duty 2019 to their investors during their annual investors report, they said that the game was going to have a campaign, a multiplayer, and a co-op experience. And it seems to me like if they really wanted Zombies to be in the game, they probably would have mentioned that Zombies was going to be there, because Zombies is a big selling point for various Call of Duty games, but they didn't say Zombies. All they said was it was going to have a co-op mode. And also, if you guys haven't heard, Lee Ross, who is basically the Jason Blundell of Infinity Ward, he left Infinity Ward, and now he's working with Treyarch on Blackout. So he's like the head Zombies guy at Infinity Ward, and he's no longer there. So again, I really don't see Zombies being the central focus of Modern Warfare 4's co-op mode, but I would certainly like to see 1 or 2 Zombies maps added to the game, because it would be really interesting in my opinion. Now, when it comes to multiplayer, I would personally like to see them, like I mentioned earlier, go back to the Pick 10 system as compared to the super old school system, because I feel like Pick 10 is just superior, but feel free to disagree in the comments. I feel like kill streaks need to be wildly overpowered again, just like we saw back in Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2. I'm talking chopper gunners, AC-130s, Harriers, Pavlos, Blackbirds, and of course, the tactical nuke. In my opinion, insanely powerful and rewarding kill streaks are what helped put Call of Duty on the map back in the day, and it's time we go back to that, right? It seems like in recent years, they've done away with the idea of kill streaks being a super powerful and integral part of the multiplayer experience. If you look at the streaks we have here in Black Ops 4 and World War II, and even games like Black Ops 3 and so on, the streaks seem like they're weaker and weaker, and they cost more and more, as compared to back in the day when a chopper gunner was a 9 kill streak, or the Harrier was a 7 kill streak, or the Blackbird in the original Black Ops was an 8 kill streak. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to when kill streaks were a super integral part of the game that you saw every single match, and you could reasonably earn them every single match. Now, obviously, if you're a good player, you can get the big streaks even in the current games, but is it really worth it to grind for a gunship every single game here in Black Ops 4, knowing that Zero can take it out of the sky pretty much immediately, or that it's going to get shot down, or that people are going to hide from it? Back in the day, there was a lot of reward in the kill streak system. It was worth going for the streaks, whereas in recent games, in my opinion anyway, it just really isn't worth it, which is why most of the time, if you look at my gameplays, like I'm running UAV counter UAV, I'm running like Hellstorms and Lightning Strikes, because those streaks you get a lot more frequently, and oftentimes you get more kills with them as compared to trying to save up for things like your strike team or your Mantis or your gunship and things like that. So in my opinion, go back to the old school way of doing things, make the kill streaks wildly overpowered and crazy, crazy and fun. We need that at least for 1 year here in the Call of Duty franchise. And this next part may be a bit controversial, but I honestly don't care if they keep or get rid of the score streak system. I can see both sides of the discussion, I really can, but I would not be opposed at all to them doing away with the score streak system and returning to the old school kill streak system that we saw in Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, and the original Black Ops. Heck, I would be open to them bringing stackable kill streaks back. So for example, the kills you get with your Predator missile can go towards getting you your Harrier strike, then your Harrier strike kills can help you get your AC-130. I see why they did away with that in later games, but man, it would be fun to see that once again, because I just really want kill streaks to be a huge factor in Modern Warfare 4, the same way they were a factor back in Modern Warfare 2. They maybe can even bring back the old school assault/support/specialist system that we saw in Modern Warfare 3. I'm open to all these ideas, regardless of what they decide to do. I just hope that streaks play a much bigger role in Modern Warfare 4 than they have been in previous Call of Duty games. But on top of that, no specialists, of course. Like, I don't want actual, playable specialists in the game. I want old school Call of Duty combat, but I would like the specialist system to return, where, of course, you can replace your kill streaks with perks. That would be a really good system. I would like 10 prestiges plus Prestige Master. That's kind of standard now. I want proper Master Prestige rewards and a reason to go to Master Prestige. And on top of all of that, I would really like to see them implement a loyalty program that goes on throughout the rest of the Call of Duty franchise, right? Now, what I mean by a loyalty program is back in the day, Modern Warfare 3 would display our prestiges from the previous Call of Duty games on our player card, which was a really cool system, right? And using our Call of Duty accounts, they should be able to bring that back once again, because I feel like if you're at least first prestige in the previous Modern Warfare games, you should get some sort of a reward for that in Modern Warfare 4. Whether we're talking about weapon camos or character customization or what have you, there should be some sort of a reward for being a loyal fan to the Call of Duty franchise. If you're 10th prestige back in Call of Duty 4, like the old school original one, then there should be some sort of a reward for you in Modern Warfare 4, right? It just makes sense. I don't get it, right? I don't get how in the Call of Duty series, which has been going on for 15 plus years now, how there is no continuity in between games. Like, anything you do in Black Ops 3 does not affect you at all in Black Ops 4, or doing things back in Modern Warfare 2 didn't affect you in Modern Warfare 3, really. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There should be some continuity in between games, and they could start that with a loyalty program with Modern Warfare 4, where you get rewards for having done things back in Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3. That just makes the most sense, at least in my opinion. Now, when it comes to Master Prestige rewards, they can do a lot with that, right? We saw back in World War 2 how they gave us special camos for reaching certain ranks, as well as uniforms. They could do that as well. That'd be fine for Modern Warfare 4, but I'd also like to see them implement the Prestige system that Treyarch has been doing, where you hit Prestige Master in Modern Warfare 4, and then every 100 levels, you unlock the old school Prestige icons from the original Modern Warfare trilogy. That would be really cool in my opinion, and of course, they could do a lot more with that. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. But to wrap things up here with microtransactions, because we know that microtransactions and DLC are going to be a thing, I don't want them to be a factor at all. Period, right? The only form of microtransaction I want to see in Modern Warfare 4 would be the return of a battle pass, but only during holiday events. I want it to be revamped quite a bit. So for me personally, I want holiday events to be a huge factor in Modern Warfare 4. They add so much replay value to the game. I mean, new events are always very exciting, even here in Black Ops 4. I want that to be a thing in Modern Warfare 4, but what they should do is kind of give us a blend of everything we saw back in World War II, Modern Warfare Remastered, and even Black Ops 4. Every holiday, they should revamp all the multiplayer maps to have a holiday theme. While playing on that multiplayer map, we should be able to do challenges to unlock special camos and customization items for the holiday, and then on top of that, they should also add a 25 to 50 tier battle pass, which does not take an hour per tier, which will give us a bunch of cosmetic items for that particular holiday. In my opinion, once again, the holiday events in Call of Duty are some of the most memorable and notable points in the Call of Duty life cycle, right? Remember back in Modern Warfare Remastered, when we were playing on Winter Crash and unlocking special camos on that? That was super memorable and fun to me. And in Black Ops 4, I also like the idea of a battle pass to an extent, right? Obviously, it's not perfect, but I do like the fact that while a battle pass is active, everything I'm doing is going towards that battle pass. There's always that constant sense of progression, which I really enjoy. And if they were to revamp the battle pass to only be 25 to 50 tiers and maybe take 20 to 30 minutes per tier, that would reward fans with cosmetic items for playing the game during the holiday. And then once the holiday is over, they can maybe bring bring back special contracts like we saw in World War II, where fans could unlock some of that cosmetic content from the operations and events that they missed previously, right? Basically, the best of all the worlds between Modern Warfare Remastered, World War II, and Black Ops 4. That would be a pretty good system in my opinion. And on top of that, when we're actually talking about proper unlockables and cosmetics, Modern Warfare 4 needs its own version of dark matter. Gold and diamond need to come back. The actual camos you unlock by doing challenges and the customization items like your character outfits and whatever, all those things need to be the best items in the game, right? I really hate it when a microtransaction camo comes out, for example, and that camo is better than the most prestigious camos in the game, like Metalflage versus Chrome back in World War II is fresh in my memory. I hate when that stuff happens. So in my perfect world, like the perfect version of Modern Warfare 4, there are no supply drops, there are no microtransactions. All we have are holiday events and battle passes during those holiday events, which will give us holiday themed camos and customization items, which don't take away from the actual prestigious camos like gold and diamond and dark matter or exclusion zone or whatever, right? So that's how I would personally handle microtransactions, quote unquote, in Black Ops 4. There would be none, essentially, right? No supply drops, no directly purchasable things, just battle passes and contracts, essentially, which would be very consumer friendly, which is why it'll never happen. There's no way Activision will ever let that happen, along with free multiplayer maps and free multiplayer weapons as part of content updates. That would definitely never happen, but it's my wish list for Modern Warfare 4, so therefore I want to include it here in this video. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have for you guys here today. I could go on for another hour talking about every little minute detail and change and things I would like to see added or removed from the game, and I'm going to cut myself off here. I would love to hear down in the comments, what do you guys want to see in Modern Warfare 4? What is your perfect version of Modern Warfare 4? Leave that down in the comments, and as always, I will keep you guys posted as we learn official news about the game, which should be coming out in the very near future. We have not had to wait this long in between Call of Duty reveals in a very long time, so news is right around the corner, as is a new operation, along with new multiplayer maps, and probably a new specialist, and a bunch of stuff for Black Ops 4. So, as always, again, I will keep you guys posted as we learn more. But until then, thank you guys all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.